The real world, a global community where like-minded individuals work toward achieving their personal goals. Every member receives advanced training and mentoring from our team of experienced industry specialists. Develop essential business skills with the help of our coaches through our online comprehensive education system. Join now. Real Prosperity Financial Freedom Formula. Discover how to become financially freed so you don't have to depend on your business, a job, the government, a partner, or anyone else for money. Scan code for the Financial Freedom Formula. 4BK Forbidden Knowledge Shop. Forbidden Knowledge Tours and Workshops. Embark on a journey of discovery with Forbidden Knowledge Tours and Workshops, where history, science, and spirituality merge to unlock the secrets of the universe. Our immersive experiences take you beyond the mainstream narrative, exploring ancient civilizations, consciousness expansion, biohacking, UFO phenomena, and the art of manifestation. Esoteric Store, featuring new esoteric and biohack items. It's a movement, a portal to ancient wisdom, higher vibrations, and deep truths. Awakening minds and expanding consciousness. Scan code to shop now. AI Genius Club. Revolutionary suite of 24 AI-powered apps is designed to automate, optimize, and elevate your success. Whether you're crafting visuals, creating engaging funnels, or generating personalized content, our platform empowers you to excel with ease and precision. Scan code to create magic. Event Raptor, the #1 solution for automating your sales. Attract, nurture, and convert with your ultimate coaching client attraction system. Everything you need to grow your audience, your authority and influence, your sales. Scan to start your automation.
Hey guys, Nicole here with another great episode of the Pain Point Podcast, and I've got another expert guest coming at you today with some great tips and tricks on how to ease those pain points and offer solutions to your business online. We do have some great sponsors that you have seen in that intro, so I encourage you to go down there and check out those new line of clothing that we are affiliated with. It's the 4BK, Forbidden Knowledge clothing line, elixirs, and all those great forbidden knowledge items that they offer. I'm super excited about that in our line. If you're a speaker, check out Event Raptor. And like the rest of us, you're an entrepreneur, you're doing your own social media, check out AI Genius. They've got some great, pretty cool, quick production on there, on those buttons and toggles and all those fun switches. So if you're looking for something quick and easy and you're doing your own social media, create some graphics, maybe get your team in there and check it out. All that information will be also on the links below. I encourage you, if you would, please like this podcast and subscribe on YouTube, Rumble, and even Spotify. All right, guys, so getting back to our great guest today, and I want to bring in Dr. Jeffrey Berger. Jeffrey, thanks for being here today.
Thanks, Nicole. It's a pleasure to be on your show today. Thank you for inviting me.
You are a great guest, and you were just on the Tech Summit Hacking the Matrix, and you had some great information. We had some wonderful testimonies from people who were VIPs, and they put it out there publicly, and they loved what you brought, the information. And so I wanted to bring you onto the podcast because you have some interesting solutions looking at the future. And we need to start to get 5 steps ahead and pre-plan and start looking at where is the future taking us. So if you just introduce yourself to our audience.
Sure. Thank you so much again. So I'm Dr. Jeffrey E. Berger, and I am the CEO and founder of Abundance and Optimum Wellness. And as a certified holistic coach, today I'm really taking a finance-first approach to achieving all-encompassing well-being by embracing new ways to true wealth in the modern world. And what I feel is that by exploring diverse paths, it really opens the door to true wealth in every sense. And as a global ambassador for an innovative high-tech company who is revolutionizing the future in technologies such as real estate, finance, education, AI, and the metaverse, just to list a few, I'm deeply committed to empowering individuals and communities worldwide. And my mission really goes beyond the business aspect of it by providing global-minded individuals with new ways to true wealth in the modern world so they can circumvent the systems and go from financial fatigue to financial freedom. And it's really about creating opportunities, providing access, awareness, and building more inclusive and supportive digital world where everyone has a chance to thrive.
Wow. Already, just in your introduction, you're sharing with everybody some solutions that you're going to be providing today about financial freedom. And so many people talk about it, but you will actually bring steps here into the financial freedom as we talk. And so people can go to your website. All that information will be provided, folks, in the links below. I encourage you to go to these sites. They are eye-opening to say we do need to build wealth. We need to build wealth in different ways, not the old ways that we were wealth building. Because if you look at the old wealth building, a lot of the times when we're looking at that, I know of a few people that have been, when I've been researching or actually gone into some networking and some very powerful financial planning meetings, people were sharing with me that there's this kind of 7-year theme of depression or recession in our economy. And we've seen that recently with all the craziness that has gone on. We need to diverse and move into a different manner of wealth building because we'll lose it all. I've seen hotels close, and you're talking people with ginormous amounts of money. And then houses were boarded up. In Las Vegas, you're seeing houses just boarded up and closed. People couldn't afford to live there anymore. Where did they go? What happened to these people? And seeing these cycles, obviously what people are telling us about wealth is not working, because then we should surpass the depression or recession if we're building wealth and we're doing it wisely. How do we surpass that? So there's a lot of questions, and we'll have a great conversation here. And I'm just really into this education on what you bring because you make it so simple. What way are you looking at sharing with people to build that true wealth besides the way of the old?
So let me, if I may, just set a foundation for the listeners today, because I'm 70 and I grew up in the baby boomer days, and I was led to this revelation of go to school, get an education, and go find a nice, safe, secure job and retire in 40 years, and you'll be happy. That isn't working anymore. And my very first traumatic pain point was between 9/11 and 2008 with the real estate crash here in the United States, where I lost over 900,000 in my retirement portfolio. So that was a rude awakening for me specifically in regards to that. And then in 2022, lost another $75,000 in the stock market by working with a financial planner. And I don't take it away from the financial planner, because the individual was very conservative, wasn't willing to explore. So that's when I really started to say to myself, you know what? I need to take ownership of my own financial well-being and not totally rely on other people, get information from other people. So that really set the foundation for me. But then to top that off, like the icing on the cake, was that after being a software engineer for 27 years, in 2009, I was approached to purchase 500 Bitcoin at 0.0017 cents. And that's an 85-cent investment. And my response was, no, sounds like a scam. So that kind of gives you a foundation of where I was, and now I'll bring it up to today. And it's really about stepping into your uncomfortable zone to getting educated. And this is where growth really starts to happen, because we grow up in a world where most people are really comfortable and they don't want to step out because they like where they're at and they don't want to ruffle the feathers and stuff like that. But in order for things to happen, you have to step into your uncomfortable zone. So I started to do that in 2017 when I saw more and more about cryptocurrency coming across my feeds. And it was like, something's going on here. I think I should start looking into this. And so a couple of years of I didn't dive in. It was gradual education, so forth and so on. And It really came to fruition in 2022 when losing another major chunk. And that is when I made the switch to really investigating and embracing this holistic financial journey that I'm on, because our current systems are broken and they're corrupt, is what I have found out, starting with a medical system from my health perspective in 2018, and then losing all this money because those individuals who create these systems up here are benefiting from the masses. And what can I do for my own future to make changes for the betterment of myself and my family? And that's what I did, is I stepped into that, and I was introduced to a couple of different projects that are outside of the centralized arena, if you will, to go into the decentralized zone, where this is where they're taking the power and the control away from central authority and bringing it over and putting it into our hands, having a lot more control over that, but still dependent on the platforms that are being developed in decentralized. So that was the transition of me coming in and waking up to the reality of technology changes, and it changes very fast. And I remember the days when I was a software engineer, when I had a disk to boot up my computer. Today, they're running the world, and the technologies that are being developed and worked on today are changing the world in 3 to 5 to 10 years plus down the road. And what can we do to maximize or benefit from those technologies? And that's where I am at today, because I'm in the know. Those of us that are in the know are benefiting from it now. And I want to educate people about, take a look, get some information. Don't be afraid. Get into that uncomfortable zone. Get educated. If it's something for you, great. If it's something not for you, great. But at least you have information so you can make an educated decision.
And what you say is so important. It's the education. And someone's going, I didn't know this was coming. If you educate yourself, and we have such a plethora of information, if we just take a little bit of chunks of the knowledge that we're gaining online and give us a sense of where to go. And so that's the great thing about having expert guests like you on this podcast, is you're telling people, you're giving them the knowledge. And once you have the knowledge, it's the action you take and applying that. And that helps us move forward, to say that someone gave you the education. You've given this gift of educating people and the knowledge and how to. And now, if people register for your webinar, then they can get the guidance on how to, what's the next steps. And people are telling you, and this is the benefit of having an online platform of YouTube or Rumble, a podcast or connection, and having virtual summits, getting to know people, getting the education, talking to people in a critical manner to say, okay, maybe it's not the right question now, but maybe it will help one later get into that conversation. And so when we're talking, it's something that someone can take a little nugget and not be overwhelmed. I don't know where to go. I didn't know where to look. Someone's giving you those steps and those guidance. Here you go. Here's your sign. Here's the presence right here. And it's whether we take the action moving forward. Another great thing that you mentioned was holistically. And I, like you, have had issues with the medical system. I have been in the hospital, and talk about this all the time, since I was a kid. I was in the hospital for weeks at a time. I was always sick. I had health issues, and I had a parent who was fully into the Munchausen and loved getting the accolades of, oh, poor me, mother, your daughter's sick. And so it worsened. So when I was getting better, I could never continuously stay better. And it had an issue to do with money as well, and the control on that. My health and my wealth were both in a bad place, and not realizing till later in my years, which you realized too, that there's a way we need to go that's different. And I say this not for me, but I say this to say, hey, take it as an example. I still run into the wall full force sometimes, because that's just the way I learn. I have to make a mistake or feel the pain. That's just me personally. Everybody else is a little different. Some people just need a little aha moment, and it works for them. Whatever the is, take it in stride for yourself. But But also holistically, if we are unhealthy, we have to take our lives back. And
Yes.
whatever side of the platform you were on in 2020, I'll just say, hey, I suffered from that years ago. So I wasn't going to go back into that phase of suffering from a health system again and letting someone take control of my life. I lost everything, 25-year career, and plus in my life because of I said, hey, I've got to just walk away from this. I'm not going to go through this and allow someone else to take control. It's taking our control back, whatever way we have to take that.
Right.
And now I'm healthy. I have my legs. I can move. I was told I'd never walk again. There's so many things that I have to say, hey, maybe that's not the right way to go. It didn't work for me back then. It won't work for me now. And that's just to say the wonderful thing about these times and the excitement is now we can take our health and our wealth back or take control of it for the first time. And in doing so with these wonderful platforms that we have online, it can be a scary space because, like you mentioned before, we can get comfortable. But what's there to be comfortable about? Because if you stay comfortable, somebody's going to shake it up. They obviously did in 2020. They wanted to do it again this last year for 2025. They wanted to shake it up and say, hey, you think you're comfortable, you're not. So I think at this point, we have this beautiful guidance to get out of that fear space and move forward and say, hey, I'm not going to be comfortable until I get my own wealth and have my own financial freedom. With that, we're online. To me, sometimes the scary part is I can have $1 in my wallet and know it's $1. It's not worth what it was, but I still know that physically it's $1. When we're transitioning, how do we grasp a hold of it all online? What if the power goes out? How do we get a hold of our money? When we look at that mentally, I think that can be a little bit of a mind mess or a mental mess, and that monkey grabs a hold of us and shakes it up a little bit. What are we doing moving forward, and how do we go about this in a safe manner?
Yeah, so great question, Nicole. This is an industry that is evolving, and we both have talked about the uncomfortableness, and it's about, again, being comfortable and just starting to get educated. And one of the things that I experienced in my very first venture with a project, I lost $125,000 and I was still green. I didn't have all the knowledge. I'm a lot more knowledge today in regards to knowing what questions to ask and knowing how to move forward, but I'm learning on a daily basis. So with regards to this digital currency, there are systems in place where people can get it out onto the market, and there are ways of cashing in on it through current banks today, because for years, for the last four some odd years, we were told, don't get involved with Bitcoin, don't get involved with decentralization or cryptocurrency, blah, 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 blah. But behind our backs, Bank of America and Wells Fargo and JP Morgan, BlackRock, they were buying up all the cryptocurrency and blockchain or the Bitcoin. And at some point, people will have to wake up because they will be presented, here we go, we are digital now. So with that, there are systems that are being put into place. And one of the things that I look for with regards to working with a project is, first of all, who's running the project? Number one. Number two, is the project registered with the appropriate authorities? And then number three is, what are they getting exposure from a global perspective, along with working with the appropriate authorities? Example, the SEC. This is a organization that really oversees and protects the consumer from fraudulent businesses that are out there. And the first one was not SEC compliant, and they basically pulled the shade over people. The company that I'm involved right now, they're working with the SEC. They're launching, or in fact, they've incorporated in the state of California. They're setting up a headquarters in San Francisco. They're registered in the state of Delaware, and have announced their IPO in about 30 months. So these are some of the factors of looking into and becoming more secure in regards to moving forward. If you resonate with the mission of the company and where they're taking their technologies, because right now there's so many people out there that are hurting because they have been unfortunately misled in so many ways. And there's people struggling on a daily basis. And this really provides an opportunity for people to really step up and embrace it and just start getting educated. Because you think back to when you have Microsoft and Amazon and Netflix back in their day, go back to when computers weren't even around. For those that are listening and watching, we were doing everything the old way. Then the computers came in, and now look at where computers are. But Microsoft, Apple, Tesla, and Amazon, Netflix, they revolutionized their industry back 20, 30 years ago, 40 years ago. Today, that's where we are at with this AI, with the metaverse, with blockchain technology. We're in a brand new era where we are in a paradigm shift with the way the future is going to be, how we're going to be looking at the future, and how we're going to be transitioning, transacting, and doing business, or doing things from a personal perspective as well. Those are some of the things that I've learned along the way to look out for, and just to make sure that there is a pathway to going from here when you get started, and then you come over through this journey here, and then now I can reap the benefits of my investment, if you will. And we start out in an area where it's decentralized, but then we transition over to where we can benefit and reap the ROI, the returns on investment from your initial investment journey.
Thank you for bringing all those receipts and saying, here are the steps, and you're sharing the how-to. And it's simple to understand. It's not difficult. When I was in Silicon Valley as a child, it was like you had to have a translator for the nerd that was running the tech. There was no way. The books that they wrote, I remember reading some of this stuff like, oh, it's unnecessary to say all this, but that's just how they thought. And to have someone now in the White House that can say, hey, I'm here as tech support. Simplest side, the super genius in there, rocket scientists in there that are doing this, and changing the tech. I've worked for counties or cities in part of what I've done for security, and understand that when they bureaucratic control that, it's out of control. There's so much paperwork and stuff that doesn't work, and then the technology is never there. And working just even in the police department, we didn't have updated technology. So how can we be ahead of the criminal? If you can't be ahead of the criminal, and you can't be ahead of the money market out there, how are you going to be ahead of anybody? You're always like 20 steps behind. You're left in the dust. We have to have somebody, a couple people that say, hey, we need to update things. We need to update things because we know that it's a lot. And it happened in the casinos too. You would see, oh, somebody's cousin's sister, the nepotism, that they would buy this system that was millions of dollars, and it was the worst system ever. We had people sell a casino, for instance, a system for their reservations. And a casino, when you have millions of people coming into a convention center, restaurants, dining, and staying there, going to the pool parties, there's a lot of restaurants and there's a lot of things going on. You upset your reservation system, and which shuts down your call center, which shuts down your lifeline, means that you're getting double, triple booked. Nothing's going right. You have upset people. How many millions of dollars have you lost in just 10 minutes? A lot. That's a lot of money going out the door. So you have to have people that are properly trained. You have to pay for that. You have to pay for tech. You have to pay for the system. You have to train people properly, and you have to have those people in place. There's a lot of departments, and there's a lot of parts and pieces that go on. When we don't understand that, that gets to be scary, especially if we're comfortable. But having someone like you that has gone through this, that has felt that kind of trauma and that pain point, but now you have a solution, and you're not just saying, hey, just come with me. I'm going to take you for a ride. What you're saying is, hey, let's go have a great ride, have a great time. Let's be together in business. I made wealth. I want you to make wealth. And now we're changing that and we're upsetting that 1%. Now we're the 99% making the wealth, which is amazing. We have to
Absolutely.
do a little due diligence. Yeah. We have
Yes.
to do it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And that's what you're saying. You have the research and you're bringing that. And so talking to you, you say that I don't have to pull it out of you. It's automatic. When someone is a teacher, when someone really has the heart space to say, hey, I want you to do well, and I've checked it out, but here are the resources, you could check it out too. And you list all that. And this is an amazing time. And seeing the difference when we talk as healers, even for dimensions and portals, here's the virtual reality, here's the virtual space, we're moving into this. However, we don't have to be there at all times. That's not what you're saying, because we want to take vacations, we want to travel. And I know that you talk all around the world, people. You have a network and a plethora of people, and that you share your experiences with. And this is obviously something that you tell a few friends, they tell a few friends, and this is how we change it on a global scale. The acceptance of people to come into this seems like the time to accept this, that maybe, hey, the bank might shut down. And if we want to change our finances, we have to see and prepare for this going forward. How are people taking that? I know a few years back, it was a bit rocky where people are, hey, I'm not touching that. It's a scary space. I don't even want to be on Facebook. How are they taking this now?
Yeah, you bring up a really good point. I actually got involved with this company back in 2022, and I actually came on board as a customer first. I wanted to diversify, and my financial planner, I want to share this, is that part of my journey is my financial planner blew a gasket because he was livid that I was withdrawing all of my 401ks, liquidating them, and I was liquidating them because I wanted to diversify in multiple projects. And his response, I said, "Why are you so mad at me?" He said, "Because the market will come back. You just have to be patient." And I said, "Paul, I've been patient. I'm going to be 70 years old in 3 years. I don't have more time to wait for the market to come back." So that's when I took total control. So bringing it up to today, the last 4 years, the last 2 years were a little bit difficult because the previous administration didn't embrace the technologies of today that are changing the world in the future. It is what it is. So it was difficult, and people were struggling. They were working paycheck to paycheck. So it was a challenge. However, today that's all changed. All right. And with the new administration embracing blockchain technology, embracing Bitcoin, embracing cryptocurrency, and with the brand new AI and crypto czar David Sachs, and then the newly appointed SEC chairman Paul Atkins, both of these gentlemen embrace this technology because they know it's going to change the world. And it's really all our vision with this company is for the betterment of humanity. And we want to have an impact on the world so they can participate in something that they never thought that they could participate before in. And let me just add to that, because when I was introduced to this, I was skeptical, because my first response was, I don't have money to invest into high-end hotel and resorts and luxury apartment living. That's crazy. But I was open to getting educated, just like I was with holistic health, thinking if I could leave the medical world where all they do is prescribe medication and look out to see what else is out there, maybe I can do the same thing here. And that's what happened. And so I took a low six-figure portfolio, and today it's in the mid to high sevens. And this year, with another project that is launching, we'll take it into the 8 figures. So this is something where, and this was my choice, and I do my own research. I am working with coaches, if you will, wealth coaches, multimillionaire coaches who've made their millions at young ages. And I'm getting guidance from that because my financial planner wasn't a multimillionaire. How could he teach me how to become a multimillionaire when he wasn't himself. But now I'm learning it from the other side. And same thing with Tony Robbins. I went to his business mastery, and a true entrepreneur has 7 ways of generating income, which is when I diversified into 6 projects. And I'm looking at the 7th, but right now 6 is good. And it's giving me options. And it's not about becoming a millionaire. That wasn't my ultimate goal. My ultimate goal was to have more choices because I lost so much in my retirement portfolio. I didn't have the choices that I used to when I was working full time and making 6 figures. Now that's all changed. And so today, especially with the $500 billion AI joint venture in Stargate, this administration wants to be in the forefront of this digital world of AI. And our company Eclectic System is about real estate tokenization and NFTs and AI, the metaverse, education, utilizing real estate technology, financial technology, educational technology. And one thing that makes us really super different than most of the companies that are out there, we're all about real world assets. So when you look at Bitcoin doesn't have a tangible real world asset. It's out there in Bitcoin world. You can't touch it. All right. With this, I've been to Dubai. I've been to the Paramount apartment. I've been to JVT apartment complexes. They're building the Zanzibar hotel and resorts that I own NFTs in. So there is tangible assets that are associated with our tokens, NFTs, and coins, which makes it completely a different business model.
Ooh, that's actually exciting because that's where I think some of the worry is, as we spoke before, is there's nothing tangible. Where we had gold at one time that backed the US dollar, where's the gold now? Ooh,
Right.
it disappeared and we couldn't own it. You couldn't own a certain amount. And it just didn't make any sense. And there's no education in the system to say what is money. Like my mom wrote a check Friday. She postmarked a check on Tuesday for Friday and at the grocery store. So I learned that you could leverage money, but I didn't learn it in a healthy manner. And it's Wimpy, the old Popeye cartoons. If you guys look it up, and Wimpy goes, "Hey, can I get a burger today and pay you the next day?" And wanted to leverage them. It was always out of food. And if you're in that poor mindset, you rob Peter to pay Paul. But once you rob them, there's nothing left for you to rob. There's nowhere else to get that money. But now understanding how this works and that there is something with that non-fungible token, with the NFT, to say, hey, there's something here, there's a contract here, and there's something traceable where that connection and that blockchain is. You're using it as the key, the chain that you can follow the little links in your research, and it will get you to the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. So following that, to say, here's where this is, here's this is. And you've actually seen that, and you invite people to take a look into it themselves to say, hey, there's property behind this. There's something tangible that you can look at or see or know that it's actually there. There's an asset there. So it's not going to disappear into the universe. And I've been there. Go ahead.
And it is recorded. And another thing, Nicole, when I do my webinars, and in the beginning, as I was learning, so as I'm doing these webinars, people are it's why are you so confused? But I got it. So for those that are confused about decentralized, centralized, I say, okay, the company that I'm a global ambassador for this company. I'm bringing education. I'm bringing awareness. Think about Apple. And just like the company that I represent, Apple has their main stock. All right. But underneath Apple, they have the iPhone, the iPad, the Mac Pro, and all of their products and services underneath Apple that they're developing. All right. In the centralized world, we're doing the same thing, but in the decentralized world, however, it was just October of 2024 that the company was approached by the SEC as well as the industry experts to say, why don't you utilize the best of both worlds decentralized and centralized and go IPO, because over in decentralized, it's more of an ICO, initial coin offering, where IPO is an initial purchase offer. So now we're doing both. And right now, there's no other digital currency company leveraging both worlds from that perspective. So that gives a little bit of comfort for those individuals who are a little skeptical, but still open to getting information. And that's the correlation there. It's really it's mindset. It's shifting the mindset, saying, oh, if it's like Apple over here and centralized with this real estate company here, it is this over here and decentralized, but our real estate is actually, the shareholder is going to come over to the IPO and be a shareholder stock on the New York Stock Exchange in 30 months.
Wow. So now you have actual currency in there that are tangible items. You have stock. You're going to be listed there, part of the SEC. There is controls. There are laws there.
Yep.
We do now know that those companies, and I remember us having a conversation once or twice, and I've had a conversation with a few other people. The people that were telling us, BlackRock, this is so bad, don't do it. It's awful. It's awful. They were buying it, and I'm that person. What is this going on, or why is this still bad? If this main company is buying this because they're using this as assets, and so follow the people. What are they investing in it, right? What is Warren Buffett investing in it? Why would he invest? Start to look at that. What is Tony Robbins talking about? You talked about that in his latest money book, where he talked to all these incredible investors and gave you a slice of the pie. We're manifesting abundance. We need to accept it. And part of that is a currency is energy, and digital currency is an energy. It's an energetic exchange. And when we see that in a woo perspective, hey, I'll put my tinfoil hat on and say, hey, whoa, what about this, dimensions, portals? This is the exciting time that we're here we're at watching Star Trek. We're actually doing it. We have a Space Force. We have a holodeck where we can go, which is the metaverse. So if we start to correlate that and find the causation, find the how, find the why, follow the links, and then all of a sudden this develops, that we're at this super, super exciting time. And if you don't want it, you can say no.
Exactly.
Nobody's forcing you to get chipped. I don't want Neuralink. I'm okay with it. But when we get those conspiracies, the people that conspire, that work together, but people that are conspiring with the knowledge to understand, we're sharing the movement with you on what we're doing in exciting times, and know that you can do this too.
Yeah.
I think this is a great time, and I see a lot more people starting to get it, but it's really talking to people. When I onboard people into the metaverse and share that it's a few toggles. I'm not a goggle person. I can't use the things and move around, and I don't care for them. I don't want to look for it. I don't want to get all this hardware out. It's nuts to me. But now we can just hit a link and go into this space. And there's all these platforms that are out there that are free to use and look at. And it's just giving people an opening to the opportunity that it's there. And as I do more summits, I'll start to bring the virtual space back so people can get a little bit of an experience. It's something a little different. You can come in there we're in the Jetsons. When Joan Jetson would put her face mask on, and she had her whole face and her hair done, and she didn't have to take off her robe, and she put her screen on. And this is where we are right now. You don't have to buy a new outfit. You could just show up. And then nobody can say, hey, turn your camera on. We can't. So you could do what you need to do. And yeah, things are out there we need to be aware of, but you don't need to be spooked by it. It's understanding, and it's the explanation of what we should be sharing. And having grown up in Silicon Valley in the 80s, this is where we should have been 20 plus years ago. And it took time because people pushed it back. Now we have this wonderful technology, and there's different departments, and there's parts and pieces to it. And you bring that education, and you want people to understand that financial freedom. I have been there too, where some of these metaverse spaces or some of these coins or some of these things have failed. And sometimes it happens when you invest. So take a low investment. Are you able to make a low investment with this, or do you have to have $1 bazillion to invest in it?
Yeah, no, this is something where as the mission again is for the betterment of humanity. And this is a platform that is open to the masses, and people can come in with our educational system here. And I do want to just do one big plug for this, because this is a system that is accredited by Microsoft, Amazon, and Amazon Web Services. And they have donated a lot of money, given a lot of money for the development of this. They're developing 5 continents with this. The first is the education. The second is the metaverse, the real estate, virtual expo real estate component of it. And then there's 3 others, but people can come in as low as $200. We've got different packages: 2, 500, 1,000, 5,000, 10,000, 25, and $50,000. Now, what does that get them? For example, currently the token price of the Demeta is 70 cents. So you take $1,000 and you divide 70 cents into that, and that gives you the number of tokens at 70 cents. This year, by the middle to the end of this year, we're going live with this on the market, and this will launch between $2 and $5. So getting in now at 70 cents, you're going to exponentially grow that investment in less than a year. So, for example, I came in with this in 2024 at 30 cents. All right. And today it's grown 130, it's either 115 or 135. I'm trying to remember these numbers, but it's well over 100% growth in 14 months. You can't get that in the stock market. All right. This is decentralized. So this is in the Ethereum blockchain technology. It is in MetaMask. That's where you grab the token and you can sell it once it's out once it's launched. But that gives you an idea of the range for the masses. Get your baby toe wet, or get your big toe wet, or get your up to your ankle wet, or even up to your kneecap. For those that, have a chunk of whatever over here and it's really not getting any good returns, then move it over to here and see what'll happen by the end of this year. If that can double, triple, or quadruple, why not?
Exactly. And it's a small loss. So if you're looking at $200, especially when you get your tax refund, because it's that time. So if you're getting money back and they may be giving you a little bit more, this is the time to put the 200 aside, and it's a low loss. So you're not losing the house. Nobody's saying put your retirement out there. Take a little bit of a chunk because you can watch it. And I do that with Ethereum and Bitcoin. I buy fraction.
Yeah, you have to.
Yes. Right.
Yeah.
So you can buy fractional amounts, and that means you're only buying a portion of it until you get to the larger amount. But even on a fractional amount, just going to like Coin Market, if you do it on MetaMask and you buy a fractional amount, you're exchanging your cash money for a fraction of a Bitcoin. And then when you do that, you're still making maybe 0.01% or 0.001 cent each time that fee goes. But off $100 I put into it, I made $200. So then I had $300 worth of it. So we can go down the road on the boring stuff about money, but it's really not boring because you're making money, which is really cool. And the fact that I can buy maybe one little spot, it's like buying an apartment in Las Vegas and calling it a condo. I don't know why. I can't explain that one, but they do. But you still have ownership in land. And so, so when that goes up, you can resell it, make profit, and then go into your house. And so it's just a portion of a little bit of amount, and you can play with it a little bit. So if you're going to Las Vegas and you gamble $50 and you go with 100, I'm the one that walks away from the machine. Sorry, guys, I can't stay. I'll take my cocktail and I'm cashing out. So if you do it that way, you're like, ooh, I won. Cool. Now I'm going to go invest that somewhere else. And so have a little bit of fun. I'm not saying bet your house on it. Just have a little fun. It's better to see you make money constantly. Maybe it's down a little bit and then it goes up, and then you wait a couple days and you're like, ooh, ah. And over 10 cents and $1, it's, oh, I don't have to worry about that. And it's fun to play with it a little bit, to learn, because I have no idea about money. So I like to learn a little bit about how the world works and how money works. Yeah. And it's neat to talk to other people that want to help you build wealth and bring you along. that's what we're supposed to do spiritually, right? Is take the
Exactly.
abundance, take our wealth, and then share this wealth and knowledge with other people. And this gets us into when you want to, how are you going to support a nonprofit or a for-profit or support your mom, your dad, your sister, brother, the next door neighbor, the dog, the cat? How are you supposed to support some type of cause if you don't have the money to support the cause? And that's
Exactly.
why I take a portion of it from my summits and the other workshops that I do to go to a cause. My cause right now is confronting domestic violence. Yours can be different. I can give it to a roommate. I can buy somebody at the grocery store. Here's $20. I bought your kids candy for the holiday or something when someone's there at the store. You can do nice things like that, but you have to have money. And this is
Exactly. Yep.
really going to turn us on our head a little bit just to spin around and adjust and say, hey, I can afford to give the money instead of having to beg someone, because I hate charity. Hate asking, calling people. I don't know if anybody here has ever done that. You call on the phone. Hey, yeah, I've got this really cool charity. Can you give me like $1 million because we're going to have an event and somebody needs money and I don't want to deal with that? I'm not the big salesperson. So it's like, I'm begging some stranger for money. If I could make my own money, why don't I make it for myself? And then we can both profit in
Exactly.
a
Yeah.
nice way. I just think it's different way to look at what we can do with our money and why we should make money, and that it's just an energetic exchange.
Yeah, if I could add one more thing to this,
Go ahead.
Nicole, we talk about thinking, pioneer thinking, futuristic thinking, and what are the possibilities. And I again go back to Microsoft and Amazon and Netflix days. If you had invested $100 then, where would you be today with that stock? And any company that is really thinking more into the future has something planned. They've got milestones, they've got goals and objectives. And with this particular ecosystem here, with the educational aspect, the AI, metaverse, ed tech, right now, last year they did a huge beta testing and we're releasing this now. It's in the family and friends stage, getting it at 70 cents. But the vision of this whole platform here is projected out to 2029. And by right now, we have just over 250 schools that are already registered with this educational system, and just under 500,000 students and teachers and parents that are registered in the ecosystem. The vision for 2028 to 2029 is over 11,000 schools with 8.5 million end users. All right. And to have a part of this now and let it grow between now and 2009, who knows where that'll take you? And that's 2025, 26, 27, 28, 29. That's just a few short years where Amazon and Netflix, it took them 20, 30 years to get where they are today. And this technology is really compounding that ROI a multitude of times faster than it has in the past.
And that's exciting because you actually have a vision and you're not just pulling the rabbit out of the hat kind of thing. We want to do a million bazillion. You talk to a lot of coaches, and I love my coaches to death, but we do have to talk about reality and money. And that's a pain point for many people. They trauma bond over it.
Sure.
Couples break up over it. Yeah, I ended a relationship over it. It was over wealth and health. So it's a growing factor of understanding these are what bring us down. So here's the solution. Note to self, we're offering those types of solutions that are baby steps.
Right.
Even Dave Ramsey, take a few baby steps, write it down. It's a write or down or check it off and go forth with the next project or the next checklist and refresh. And this is someone that's going to be with you in the future. And I've run with some virtual reality companies that came in overnight and they worked and things were all nice and sweet and they weren't paying people to do their tech and they weren't paying people that were selling, and then they disappeared with all the money. And it's like, why don't you guys disclose this little problem so we knew that this was coming? It's like that FBX where that Sam Bankman-Fried's in there, and
Right.
people weren't paying attention. What were those people doing? If We have to look at these things, you guys. I know it's a sticky point, but seriously, note to self, the guy doesn't shower. He's not coming to the podcast. And you see this guy in a podcast, he's not really healthy. He's not sober. He can't have a conversation. He talks in circles. He does a lot of word salad. And it was funny just watching this guy. And these people are like, he's the greatest. Where? Where is he the greatest? And they're on an island doing crazy stuff. I don't care what you do with your money, but the point is you were putting it publicly out there. This is a guy that's taking your money, total Ponzi scheme, everything bad. When those signs are there, we need to look at them.
Exactly.
On this side, what you're looking at a company, and as I'm getting to know you, you're able to bring the receipts. You're able to show where the company is going, the progression, who they are working with, what they're doing ethically, legally, and are these people moral that you talk to? Who do you know? How do you know them? And you're not cutting and pasting what you're telling people. You're not the financial advisor. You're just saying, hey, here's something that you can look at. And, you know, there are, and like you pointed before, the financial advisor wasn't a millionaire. So how is he advising you to be a millionaire? If you're talking Warren Buffett, if you're talking Tony Robbins, if you're talking somebody, you built wealth. I want to know you. Like, oh, maybe you're someone that travels. I can travel in the circle and say, hey, there's stuff and things I can learn from you. So it's opening up and seeing, does this make sense? Is this something I can jive with? Can I go to bed at night? Am I going to worry all night about my money? $200 isn't a big deal. So looking at that, it makes sense. So hopefully it makes sense for other people. And you're talking education. And this is great because what we're talking here is education and knowledge. Knowledge is worth its weight in gold. Knowledge is applied knowledge is the way that we can really change the universe and not just hold the knowledge and hide it in a cave somewhere. It's really bringing the knowledge forward. If you do this on the virtual space, then people can have the financial freedom. You can send your kids to the school that will teach them the right things. Meaning, what are your beliefs, right?
Yeah, and that's very interesting you're saying about you can send your kids to the right school. This whole platform is geared on educating the kids of today about the future and the technologies of the future, robotics and chemistry and mathematics, and all of that is in there, and everything is being AI driven. So they will be able to create their own future. They'll be able to create their own careers if they want, if they so choose to, by understanding these technologies that are being developed today that are changing the world in the future. Very huge about education. And unfortunately, we don't have an educational system in this country that is benefiting the kids today, because we got 8th graders that can't even read. So education is crucial for the security of our country in the future. Who's going to be running the country in the future? And politics, besides, that's another story for another time.
We could talk about that for quite a while. It's true because you want to keep that out of if you want to keep that out of the conversation, keep that out of the school. What if you want to teach the politics, if you want to teach the religion, that's perfectly fine. But you're not sending your child to learn something that is against your wish or against your ethics or against your morals. Yeah. That builds two different things. Being a child of a public school, I was left in an ESL class when I was testing higher on other things because I opened my mouth, so I would get punished. So I just was like, yeah, I'll just go to those classes because I won't get asked questions. If I got asked questions, I'd get in trouble by my teachers because I would ask questions like critical thinking questions, and then simple questions like, really, why are we learning this today? What does it have to do with history? What does this have to do for the future? What do I need to know to move forward? Can we stop having these emotional debates or don't in the back stab each other? I went to school of hard knocks. I lived on the street for a little bit. You don't want to teach the thug life or the jail mentality, which we have done in society. If you want to avoid all that and you want your kids to actually learn to read, bring that back. Like maybe things like
Exactly.
Shakespeare or Poe, Edgar Allan Poe, and you miss that or you don't see it anymore. And it's thought and it's funny and it's comedy and it's witty. There's so much and financial freedom. And when you're teaching this, when you remove the science, now you're here. We need to be inventive. We need to
Exactly.
be ingenious.
Yes.
And when we do that, we can, like you said, we can create our own careers. We can create our own business. We can be successful entrepreneurs that actually know business. And that's part of my mission and purpose is to teach that you can't, or you can say that you want to be an entrepreneur or solopreneur, but how about getting the knowledge of the business? And I think that's a point of where the money scam went awry was that we need to live on a low level but we're teaching each other to manifest at a high level, but how do we mix these two together? And I think this
Right.
is a beautiful thing right now. And I do like this. Your education platform, is it just virtual education, but it's part of this, or how does that platform work?
Yeah, so it is a virtual reality. So you do have the goggles that you put on. You go into the metaverse and you can select the area of expertise that you're interested in. And what's interesting is right now looking at doing one of my webinars from the virtual reality space because I've uploaded a PowerPoint and YouTube, and we'll be zooming that at some point in the very, very near future. I'm tweaking out some things right now, but they get to choose where they want to go. And we're only in the very beginning stages of this. We're working with experts in the industry to expand on the different areas of learning, and it's going to be very exciting.
I think it's great for an experience because you're not just at the desk and you're not just in the schoolroom. You can travel and take, and there's so much with mental health, and there's so much that's in there in the space when you're in that experience and you're
Right.
fully immersed into something and
Yes,
you're in that next dimension of actually, oh, this is my vision and I can see it. And then you're really into that mindset and you're not worried about every other person or the other 20 kids in the classroom. You're
exactly.
you're actually having a positive experience, and then you can have your parents there guiding you or someone with you, just guiding you and making sure, hey, what is this person learning? What are they doing? And then they can totally submerge themselves into that. And then you have such a focus. And for me, even just reading a book, I have to have such a quiet space
Yeah,
to go
me too.
through the data. And I love data. I love to read, but if it's not that space or
The
that even
environment. Yeah,
exactly the environment, then I don't get what I need. So I
right.
can spend
Mhm.
5 minutes and learn so much. Or if the environment's crazy, I have to reread the page 100 times in this. And then you look for something if you're looking online and then you're watching your 10,000th cat video or whatever you're doing because you go down, oh, shorts.
Oh, the rabbit hole. Yeah.
The never ending scroll of the Facebook wall, and you'll never get out of it. So I think that it's such a great place to be in one spot in that mindset. And I think that's a lot of where these people are trying to get with different drugs and other things that they can probably get simply with a virtual space in the virtual reality because you're so submersed
Right.
in there. Some people just can't hone into that or travel or astral travel into something. They don't have that, or that muse hasn't hit them, or they're not sure how that's done. And I think this kind of helps submerge you, just diving into the deep end and going fully into the submersion of the pool and getting the toys on the bottom. That's it's exciting times.
It
And we're
is
all
very exciting times.
and they got the astronauts off the space station, so good
Yes,
things are
that's very
happening.
interesting.
Yeah, so it's good to see good things happening that we've been talking
Yes.
about for a while, and here it is, and now it's, oh, the abundance of what I've been asking for is here.
Speaking of abundance, my DBA is Abundance and Optimum Wellness, and I was always about I believe we all should be living in abundance and optimum wellness physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and financially. And as a holistic coach teaching about gut health, I talked about everything except finances because before 2022, my finances sucked. Excuse my French. But that's all changed. Now that finances is part of this big formula. And now I am living a life of abundance and optimum wellness, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and financially. And I want to pay it forward because to have a good mindset and an understanding of finances, you have to have your head clear because I was on 5 medications for over almost 25 years and my head wasn't there. And I'm off of all medications as of August of 2019.
I love that.
So I'm RX free. And so my brain is working. I've got clarity. I've got everything back that I didn't have for many years. And I want to pay it forward because I need to make these little letters here, circumvent the system. We're working against this corrupt and broken systems. And I always have to throw this in. I'm not 100% against Western medicine. It has its time and place. And when I'm passing kidney stones, give me that morphine, baby. I don't want to go through that pain. And I didn't need to be on metformin for 25 years.
No, and I'm glad you said that because, and I was mentioning before, I spent a lot of time in the hospital and a lot of different medications. It really messed my head up. I had seizures. I was bedridden. I was told I'd never walk again, talk again. Now I can't shut up. Okay, whatever.
Making up for lost time.
Yeah, I sure am. But I know I can sleep well, or I can get up and I can have a healthy life. I can get maybe some teas in me or some oils and eat healthier and get exercise, go outside, go for a walk. And it has changed my focus so much. It's so weird to wake up and be like, oh, is this how life works? When you're not on that medication, because epilepsy medication will make you so lethargic and you're just tired. You're just always foggy. Doesn't matter how much coffee you drink, you are totally knocked out. And let alone what else it does to your body and all the other hospital visits I've had in life. Because one unhealthy thing is a domino effect. And that's truly a part of health, is such a part of wealth. And when we say, hey, just go home and sit down and watch TV and eat bonbons. If you choose to do that because you know what you're doing, that's your choice. Bless you. Go on, be where you need to be. That's fine. We all have our moments. But the other thing is, if you don't know, then you need to look yourself. And this is part of that great awakening that we have been talking about for years, coming from Silicon Valley, where the healers, the alternative medicine, that's where Amway started. And that's how that whole thing started. The oils and everything that have gone on, essential oils and all that healthy stuff started years and years. And we're in a spot where we can say, hey, I can take my life and my control back. We're giving you this option, the golden ticket to do that. And this is such a great conversation to say, hey, part of this digital revolution is part of the health revolution. If we allow the digital to set it and forget it and do its thing and know enough, we can be much more powerful these days.
Yeah.
And then people can find us around the world. It's so many solutions here to have a healthy, prosperous life and not be in the negative, but know that maybe that you're prepared. I'm truly a have several gallons of water prepper, have food prepper, get lots of sleep, plan your week out, exercise, have a first aid kit. Yeah, totally.
Exactly.
Because you don't know when that's going to happen. But I'd rather look in the closet and know it's there, shut the closet door and be like, okay, just in case. And 2020 happened and I had to use it, but it was there. It's just like the money. It's just like the wealth. It's just like the knowledge. If it's there, you know how to sow your seeds, plant your garden, and harvest. You can have the Fehu and the Lagus in the runes where you're having the flow and the flourishment. And so this evolves and it starts to have a huge impact, and we can take control of that back. And this grand rising is here now. And this is the day of the Great Awakening. So be part of this, understand if this is for you. Go for ways and get this going too, because I'm more interested in it, because we can talk about this all day. What else would you like to mention or talk about? The floor is yours.
I think really the message is we're in a paradigm shift that is happening right now as we speak. And I always recommend people it's okay to be skeptical, but not cynical. You can't talk to somebody who's cynical. But if you're skeptical, you're more apt to getting information. And it's all about getting informed because we grew up in these boxes to be comfortable. Life isn't comfortable. So how do we make those changes? And I really encourage those who are struggling and who want change to be open to getting information that you've never gotten before and become educated. And then you can make an educated decision for yourself and not listening to somebody else saying, oh, that's a scam. That won't work. That's stupid. Don't do that. You're dumb if you do that. You're this, you're that. No, you have to be the CEO of your life and take charge. And once you can make that decision and whatever that is, then you are happy with it and it's nobody else's business. Because for many years, growing up as a baby boomer, it was don't tick anybody off and just be polite and this and that. And you can only go so far. Now I'm the CEO of my life. I will do what I think is right for me. You're not going to tell me what to do and how to do it. I may ask you, if I ask you for help, then fine, but don't tell me. And I think that's the biggest thing is we need to take ownership and be completely in control of our life.
Oh, awesome. Lead from within. Absolutely. That's such a great sentiment to take the control back and unwanted controlling or unwanted advice. Can we remove ourselves from that? It does have an effect on us, and that negative energy, the partners in pain, do have such an effect on us mentally, emotionally, health-wise and wealth-wise. 100% great. A great conversation, and I'm signing up for the webinar, so I have to look at my calendar. And I'm like, maybe I should look at my calendar first. But thank you so much. It's always a great conversation, and I'm learning so much, and it's good to be a part of this journey with you and to learn more about what you're doing and how you are changing millions and how you are building wealth, not just for yourself, but for others, supporting the health movement. Thank you so much for being part of
Thank
this.
you. I appreciate it. Very humble today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
And
you,
all the
everybody.
information, yeah, definitely. All the information will be in each one of these pages. So on YouTube, on Rumble, you can find it on Spotify. And folks, check out Dr. Jeffrey's information. This is incredible, and it's good to be part of this. Thank you.
And for those that attend my webinar, I'll throw this in. I do have a free ebook, and it basically is it's an educational piece about what is blockchain, what is cryptocurrency, what is real estate tokenization. So it gives you a foundation of this industry and starts setting you up to that educational portion of it. And I give that away for free.
Oh, that is a great book. Is that the book you gave away on the summit?
Yes, it is.
You guys really get that book. It's awesome the way the pages turn. And I did read it. It is a great setup. It's a great visual, so it makes it very comfortable to read. It's not just a boring PDF, and it does consume you and take you in and draw you in with very valuable information. And he utilizes the tech and the technology that goes along with what he's talking about. So you know that he's the real deal, because I have seen so many people want to talk tech or virtual reality or coins or tokens and all this stuff, and they are just not up to date with some of their information on what they're sharing either, and they're not offering that. You are such a plethora of education and a wealth of knowledge. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Bye-bye. Tune into our next episode. We'll see you on the other side.
Bye.
The real world, a global community where like-minded individuals work toward achieving their personal goals. Every member receives advanced training and mentoring from our team of experienced industry specialists. Develop essential business skills with the help of our coaches through our online comprehensive education system. Join now. Real Prosperity Financial Freedom Formula. Discover how to become financially freed so you don't have to depend on your business, a job, the government, a partner, or anyone else for money. Scan code for the Financial Freedom Formula. 4BK Forbidden Knowledge Shop. Forbidden Knowledge Tours and Workshops. Embark on a journey of discovery with Forbidden Knowledge Tours and Workshops, where history, science, and spirituality merge to unlock the secrets of the universe. Our immersive experiences take you beyond the mainstream narrative, exploring ancient civilizations, consciousness expansion, biohacking, UFO phenomena, and the art of manifestation. Esoteric Store, featuring new esoteric and biohack items. It's a movement, a portal to ancient wisdom, higher vibrations, and deep truths. Awakening minds and expanding consciousness. Scan code to shop now. AI Genius Club. Revolutionary suite of 24 AI-powered apps is designed to automate, optimize, and elevate your success. Whether you're crafting visuals, creating engaging funnels, or generating personalized content, our platform empowers you to excel with ease and precision. Scan code to create magic. Event Raptor, the #1 solution for automating your sales. Attract, nurture, and convert with your ultimate coaching client attraction system. Everything you need to grow your audience, your authority and influence, your sales. Scan to start your automation.